Hello, dear viewer, it's me, Captain Ginyu from the Ginyu Force. Now I'm you, and you are Captain Ginyu. I asked my dear viewers for the worst songs they've ever heard in their young and hip lives, and to say they sent some stinkers is an understatement. If you'd like a guaranteed slot in these community poll videos, become a member, and I'd appreciate the support. Anyway, let's hop in. Louis Garnier 4357 says, "What I Got" by Sublime. Might be a hot take because they're pretty popular. It's got a nice message, but it feels like what wannabe hipsters listen to unironically. This is a poor take, I'm afraid. I don't think this is some standout 10 out of 10 track, and I might even agree with your description of wannabe hipsters listening to Sublime, but this is not a bad song. I know what bad music is, this is not it. It's catchy, honestly, it's a fun listen. I don't get the hate here. This is not a bad song. Welp USA says, "Anxiety" by Doici makes me want to rip my skin off. Type shit. This blows ass, and really it's for many reasons. It's just somebody I used to know rapped over pretty mediocrely. It doesn't elevate the music in any way. There's nothing new here. It just takes a universally loved song and makes that shit ass. I don't understand how this song succeeded. I don't understand how it has 450 million fucking streams. I have no answers for you, dear viewer. This is terrible shit, but my skin remains intact. This is music that causes me genuine pain, and this doesn't quite get there for me, I don't think. This is F tier. Davis Fenn says, "Dance Monkey" by Tones and I makes me want to cut my own ears off. It feels purposely bad. It's atrocious. I understand why this hurts you and I, but I don't think this is the worst shit to ever happen to mankind. It's bad, but it feels like music for the game of musical chairs in the elementary school recess. Not much more than that. Why it has 2 billion views on YouTube again, I have no answers. Somebody's listening to this song. I don't know who. Again, no answers. The vocals here are just, honestly, I'm speechless. So egregiously bad, I can't actually put it into words. This is a worst of all time contender, for sure. Woke tier. Sir, I wanna buy these shoes. Slasher Mini Film says, "Christmas Shoes" by New Song may actually be the worst popular song of all time. I once heard it described as grade A poverty porn, and I can't think of anything better to accurately describe it. I just don't understand when you're supposed to listen to this fucking song. When is this applicable? When would you want to do this to yourself? Imagine sitting around the Christmas tree, shaking a box that's strangely Xbox shaped, and this song comes on? Me personally, I pick up the Xbox and I throw it at the speaker as hard as I can. A small sacrifice for the greater good. This is so pointless, I don't understand. This just sounds like shit. This is shitty Christmas music. And it's not all shitty. This is an exception. Back of the woke tier. Thirsty, thirsty, Thursday. Yodeling, yodeling. Retro GD Gamer says, "Thirsty" by AJR. Can't believe not one of them stopped to think, hey, maybe this sounds like absolute dog shit. Dear viewer, I don't think this song was released with serious intentionally. Truthfully, I think AJR is intentionally mass-producing garbage and seeing how far they can get. I think it's a hypothesis they have. I don't think this was made with any intent of being good. How can I tell? It's the yodeling. The nanosecond you fucking yodel on any song, it turns into trash. Have you ever heard Tom York yodel into the mic? Maynard? Even Gene Ween? No one with any intent of making good music would release this song into the stratosphere. This is top of the woke tier. I Snort Crouton says, "Emo Girl" by Machine Gun Kelly. Punk rock for those who shop at Target. Can't shop at Target anymore? I would never go out of my way to throw this song on, nor would I purposefully put any MGK song on, to be frank. But I don't think this is the worst shit I've ever heard. Super duper corny, and certainly not a good song, but it's not as bad as the yodeling. MGK is a villain, not a monster, but I do think this song is at the very least catchy. I don't hate this as much as you probably want me to. I'm gonna give this D tier.
This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good man tried to keep making it great.
QEP says, "Charlie" by Tom McDonald. Sounds like he took the instrumental straight from a YouTube beat using stock sounds, and not to mention the actual rapping and singing. When I say I let out an audible laugh the frame Mr. McDonald started rapping, that isn't an understatement. Before I even heard the words he was saying, I was already hysterically laughing. Regardless of your political beliefs, this is a hollow, garbage doo-doo track from a borderline white supremacist. I can't even believe this exists, to be honest. It's like he's trying to mimic passion on this track. I don't think he even wanted to write this. He probably saw Charlie Kirk die and had a light bulb appear right over his head. It's disingenuous, it's borderline insulting, and on top of all that, it sounds like shit. Top of the woke tier. RJ Scooper says BSD by Tyler the Creator. One of my favorite artists of all time, but what the actual fuck is this song? This sounds like a genuine battle between the rappers here and the beat itself. I'm not sure they even heard the beat before writing these lyrics. This sounds like an error. I don't have much else to say. This sucks ass for sure. Back of the woke tier. Jack Fruitsafe says Beans by Kurt Cobain. If you're not in the right mood, this song makes you want to rip your eardrums out. Occasionally it's tolerable. It's just not serious enough for me to really hate. It sounds like Ween to me, just a silly gag track off a fucking deluxe edition of an unreleased tracks record. There's nothing for me to hate. It's not good for sure, but I'm not necessarily annoyed by its existence like some of the other tracks we've talked about. I'm gonna give this back of the D tier. Levely 207 says Cop vs. Phone Girl by Third Eye Blind. Just so bafflingly bad and cheesy. I don't really want to get too much into the politics behind the lyrics, but I don't have to because there's no subtlety there at all. Just a dumbass stomp clap hey song about can't we all just get along, guys? From a band that hasn't been relevant since the late 90s, desperately trying to bump up their relevancy by hitching a ride on the political turmoil of 2016. The sentiment is all well and good, but it feels and sounds like an American dad skit. Awful name, too. If protest music isn't angry, then what the fuck are you even doing, man? That was a lot. Man, this didn't bother me half as much. It certainly has that Imagine Dragons tang sonically, and it's certainly a husk of what Third Eye Blind once was. But there's worse shit out there, I think. Lyrically super duper hollow, for sure. Pretty aggravating track, and some of the production here is almost inexplicable. I don't know what the fuck happened to Third Eye Blind. Does anybody know what happened to Third Eye Blind? I wish they would have stopped at some point in the 90s. Everything they released genuinely gets worse. It's pretty impressive, to be honest. This isn't great. Top of the D tier. Purple Donkey 27 says, I was a teenager by Green Day. Father of All sucks, and that's the track that really sticks out as the worst. Also, Billy was 48 years old when he wrote that song. Super corny coming from a 50-year-old man. But yeah, this track perfectly encapsulates why Father of All sucks so bad. It wants to be edgy, it wants to be cool, but you look at the fucking guy writing it and he's 50. What are you doing? Go raise your kids. Go spend time with your wife. What the fuck are you even talking about anymore? At some point, allegedly, Green Day wrote some decent music, allegedly. Allegedly, this was written by that same guy, and that is genuinely crazy shit. Behind Dance Monkey in the woke tier.
I fucked your girlfriend last night.
My Name is Beam says, Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills by Pantera. Just awful and should have been cut from the album. All I really have to say is why? Why would you write this song in the first place? Instrumentally, whatever, but lyrically, dear God. What the fuck are you talking about? Who the fuck wants to listen to this shit? But alright, let's say you wrote the song. Sometimes you fuck up, but then you took that track and you slotted it in at the fucking 5 spot on your record. This should be a bonus track on the Chinese CD. A hidden track, even. Preferably hidden from the rest of mankind. Insultingly bad shit right here. Dear God, behind Christmas shoes in the woke tier. TV Corp RPG says Thunder by the Imagine Dragons. I've heard bad songs, but Thunder is just beyond bad. It's definitely towards the bottom of F tier. There are many, many terrible Imagine Dragons songs, but I think this one sits in the highest tier of trash for sure. It belongs on the radio station in your mom's SUV, and nowhere else in the entire world. Maybe Target, I guess. More tolerable than a lot of the stuff I've mentioned so far. No yodeling present, that's a plus, apparently. Back of the woke tier. Solomon McGuire says, Bomb by Kanye West. I get he did it for his daughters, but regardless, this confirmed to me that my goat was killed and cloned after Donda. This guy wrote The College Dropout. How fucking crazy is that? I have nothing to say. You just gotta listen to this one yourself. One of the least charming tracks I've heard in a long time. I don't give a fuck why he wrote it. What truly matters to me is how it sounds in my ears. And my answer to that, my friends, is terrible. A miserable listen. Above fucking Father of All in the woke tier.
You call me evil, but how would you know it unless you live it already? You think you're
Eknash Poorwall 07 says Joker by Dax. He achieved his goal with this song. I can't count the number of times I've fallen to my knees and started laughing so hard. That shit is so funny and stinky. Fellas, this isn't that bad. He's unironically got a decent flow on this track. Far better than Tom McDonald's. That much I can say. Lyrically, it's super corny, unbearably so, but this was a far more pleasant listen than a lot of the shit here. Decent enough production, too. I've heard worse. C tier. JJ Squillario says, Oh My God by Mysto Artisan. One of the songs of all time. I don't hate this either. This just feels super silly. Not a song taking itself seriously, but it is kind of annoying to listen to. Some of the production is so distorted it kind of hurts, and the flow itself isn't all that great. There's certainly worse shit out there, though. Back of the C tier. Soupy Duper 7764 says Karma by Jojo Siwa. Low-hanging fruit, but it's the first song I thought of. This song is pop radio trash. If you took that trash and then ran it through the garbage disposal, then you took that, turn it into compost, wait 30 days, shit in the compost bin yourself, and then bury the corpse of your neighbor in that compost. This is so fucking bad, I can't describe it any clearer than that. Why Jojo Siwa is making music is almost beyond me. I have no idea how she ended up here. I don't know who the fuck is listening to this. I don't understand anything here, to be frank. Behind Kanye in the woke tier. Harry Main says Obey by Brain Bombs. Not sure I can even talk about this track, to be honest. Lyrically, it is the singular worst song I've ever heard in my entire life, bar none. So egregious that I can't touch on them at all in this video. Instrumentally, it's not even that bad, but the lyrics are unlistenable. There is no situation where I would ever listen to this song. A Puff Daddy wet dream. New tier is dropped above the woke tier. Let's call it jail time. That's where this goes. Looby Dooby Goober says Fack by Eminem. This isn't bad, fellas. This is a gag track done well, I think. Eminem, at least early Eminem, always had these ludicrously inappropriate lyrics, and I think it has its charm. If 53-year-old Eminem dropped this, I'd raise an eyebrow, but for its time, I think this song is solid. I don't think this is a bad song. Super Chash says APT by Rosé. I literally hate this song, but because it was literally made to be famous, it was haunting me everywhere I go. It was torture. This isn't bad either, I don't think. It's certainly not great. Sounds like the most textbook pop song I've ever heard. Bruno Mars is the secret button these pop stars press when they need a hit, and I really don't know why. This is a song I feel like I've heard 8,000 times over the last 2 decades, and while it's certainly generic, it's not a bad song, I don't think. Back of the D tier.
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the key.
Peel the Seal says Thick of It by KSI. Dear God. I remember KSI as the Lamborghini guy, and I think that song has significantly more charm. Also, what the fuck happened to Trippie Redd? I'm not saying the guy was the GOAT, or even good, to be honest, but what the fuck is he doing featuring on a KSI song? That feels like the end of a career, to be honest. Terrible song. KSI has almost zero musical talent, I'm gonna say. Behind Tyler, the Creator, in the woke tier.
Thirsty, thirsty, Thursday.
Cool Enjoyer 11235 says Thirsty by AJR. I just wanted to touch base on this song again. Why the fuck did they yodel? I'm gonna put this in the back of jail time. Ellie YouTube says No Fear by Falling in Reverse. Probably don't need to explain this one. I don't think I actually have to either. Let's just put this behind Thirsty in the woke tier. Green Team Agent says The Dictator by The Clash. How they ever thought that was good to release was insane. Sounds like 3 different songs fighting for control while 5 different news stations play in the background. I couldn't say it much better myself. This sucks ass, maybe even some major ass. Where to begin? The vocals stink, the lyrics stink, the production stinks, the background noise garbage stinks, this stinks. Just a whole lot of noise and no satisfaction. Back of the woke tier.
Alright, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand.
Greg Stevens says Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. Absolutely vile. I won't allow it, no. This is good fun and I refuse to hear otherwise. It's not some musical masterpiece, but it's a white boy rapping and I love that shit. Really silly track and his only track worth listening to, but this is nostalgic, I think. This takes me back. This is a B tier song. Kevin the Lord 5343 says Comfortably Dumb by Nostalgia Critic. This is an insult to music, to be honest. This entire project is a massive insult to Pink Floyd. Lyrically, I couldn't care less, but musically, it takes everything that made Comfortably Numb incredible and stripped it down to its barest bones. Terrible vocals, too. This shouldn't exist, I don't think. Going woke tier, behind Tom McDonald. Craft 7185 says Mommy Where's Daddy by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I genuinely couldn't even sit through this entire song, it was so bad. Just really bad lyrics here. Anthony Kiedis is no stranger to being a pedophile, but hearing it in song form is never the most fun. Bottom 5 track in their already terrible discography. This certainly belongs in the woke tier. I'm gonna go behind Falling in Reverse.
Frankie.
Chap says Frankie Teardrop by Suicide. So buns, it's scary. I describe Frankie Teardrop as elitist swill, and I can't say it much clearer than that. So overly edgy it's almost indescribable, and it's just an actually intolerable listen. The screams on this track, while maybe scary at first, ruin any slightly enjoyable listening experience you could possibly muster from the instrumentation here. It's 10 minutes long, and it does literally nothing in that time. It's boring and it sucks. If you like this, I think I'm smarter than you. I'm going woke tier above the Chili Peppers. I Can't Say That Name says Hey Ya by Sleep Token. Ruined my entire year. Take the most fun song you've ever heard and literally massacre that shit in front of its parents, scarring them for life. What an egregiously bad cover of one of the most iconic hip-hop tracks ever made. Another actual insult to the original artist with this track. Why would they do this? Who wanted this? Who listens to this? Even fucking... Do Sleep Token fans listen to this track? I don't think even Sleep Token fans can listen to this shit. Why the fuck would you? It's not even good for Sleep Token's ridiculously low standards. Good God, behind fucking Dance Monkey. In the woke tier. AJ Labs hates Burger King, says CS by Lil Uzi Vert. I don't know why he made this on an otherwise pretty decent album. I remember hearing this track for the first time on the night of this album's release, in fact, a full blind listen through. Wish I could describe the look on my face when I heard the guitar kick in on this track. I can't put it into words. Here's a picture that's pretty close. Another god-awful cover. Please stop trying to change genres with covers. It sucks. The auto-tune is just ass here. Uzi does not have the lung capacity to scream like Surge, so don't try, Uzi. Don't do some half-assed little baby scream. Just don't cover the fucking song. Damn. Find Tyler in the woke tier. That's it. Goodbye.